Hey guys, Luke here again with another Genome video. And right now I'd like to talk about the Mograph module. Since Genome is basically a modified cloner object, I'm sure many of you are wondering how it fits in with all the other elements of the Mograph world. So let's start off with effectors. I'm going to go into my Genome cloner, and I'm going to go into the Effectors tab where I already am. And you'll see that I have a special effector right here called the Genome effector. And this is what does a lot of the magic of keeping our clones in here aligned with the clones from this cloner object. So we always need to have the Genome effector on and within the Genome cloner object in order for the plugin to work. Now if we'd like to add some standard effectors to this to affect the size, position, color, we would put those on the fracture object in which the doubles are. So I'm going to go in here and create a random effector, then go into doubles, and as you can see, the random effector is already in there. And I'm just going to make sure that it hasn't been added into the cloner, and it has not, so that's good. So we go back here, we can see the random effector right there. So I can go in here and just start making changes, and you can see them happening live right in front of us. One thing that you will notice is that there's like a grid of null objects right here. Now what these objects are is these are the PSR reference nulls that this genome cloner is actually cloning. The genome effector is then matching up each one of these cloned nulls with one of the doubles and positioning the double on top of that one particular clone. Now when we bring in this random effector or any of the other effectors and placing it on the fracture object, these effectors are just offsetting it from their home, you might say, on top of each one of these particular nulls. So even though the position of these smaller nulls are not matching up with the doubles in here, that's okay. So because even if I go into my genome cloner and I add more, let's say I adjust the spacing right here, you can see that spacing is still going into effect. Right? I can increase this maybe to 2000, then I can go back into my fracture object, go into effectors, turn off this effector, and they snap back right to where they need to be and matching up directly with the clones from the genome cloner. Now color effectors work as well. So I'll bring in a step effector, and let's turn this on to color mode, then go into my doubles, drag in my step effector. And as you can see, the size is working as well as you would expect. So let's turn size off. But you can see the grayscale coloring going in on there. If I turned my random effector back on, I could turn that coloring on, and now we have a much more technicolor effect. So everything that you would do with a color effector or a step effector, as long as it's placed on the fracture object, that'll work. Each one of these should work as it normally does. I haven't gone through and tested every single parameter on each one, so you may run into one or two that have some sort of idiosyncrasy that doesn't work exactly. And if that does happen, please let me know in email so that I can go in and see if I can fix that. But they should all work as they normally do, as long as they're placed over the fracture object. Now, one other aspect of this that I should make you aware of is that some functions of the cloner object don't work precisely as they would with a standard cloner object. Specifically, if we go into our object properties and under clones, right here we have an option for iterate, random, blend, or sort. These don't work the way they should, because they are expecting to have several different objects underneath the genome cloner. In other words, genome is a cloner in the purest sense of the word. It takes a single source object and it creates many copies of it. I should also point out that genome does not like being inside of any other Mograph objects. For instance, you probably wouldn't want to put genome inside of another cloner object. While it may work in some small situations, once you start adding complexity to it, genome will just break down. If you absolutely have to have a cloner inside of another cloner, then I recommend you do just that and keep Genome out of the situation. After all, Genome was not created to be a replacement for a cloner object, but merely a substitute for it in situations which require more control over your clones. So, thanks for watching this video on how Genome works inside the Mograph module. See you later.